Okay, second workout. So this second workout is going to focus on biceps and triceps, and then lunge variations. So we're going to start with step ups and lunges. I like to think about our glute muscles as the diesel engine of your body. So if you think about the diesel engine in a vehicle or a machine, it's really strong and powerful, and it does the majority of the work typically. If you can focus on your glutes and get your glutes to fire, it's a big, huge, strong muscle group. If you can get your glutes to fire, you will take a ton of pressure off of your knees. So it's really easy to fire your quads in lunges and squats and step ups, but I'm hoping that with some mindfulness, you'll take the time to engage your glute before you come up out of your lunge or your squat. I should have mentioned this a little bit in the squat, but if you're pressing your weight through your heels before you come up out of this lowered position, it will send focus and energy into that glute and get the glute to fire, taking pressure off the knee, and good glute muscles look better in a pair of jeans, I guess. So tons of benefits for focusing on your glutes. Exercise number 1, step ups onto a bench, onto a chair, onto a stool, something sturdy, with or without weights. So I'm going to use this porch bench, just like with the single leg squat on the last workout. Start with your least dominant side. So this bench might be a little bit tall for my left side because this left hip and glute is quite a bit weaker than the right, but I'm going to give it a shot. You're going to focus on, same thing, eyes looking straight ahead, ears lining up with your shoulders, lining up with your hips, pelvis flat. When our eyes collapse, our shoulders collapse, our torso collapses, core loses its integrity, and all of this load lands into your low back. So keep your eyes straight ahead. Your knees are going to be soft all of the time. Find your step, plant your heel, fire your glute, step up, step down. If it works for your brain to alternate, feel free to alternate, pressing through the heel on whichever leg is elevated to engage that glute, to take pressure off of your knees. Step up, switch, or feel free to do all of your reps on one leg and switch to the other. So adding weights is going to obviously increase the difficulty. Bringing this knee up instead of setting it down is going to increase the difficulty, forcing your core to stabilize a little bit different. I guess that's about it for that. So from step ups, the second exercise, and you're still starting with your least dominant leg. So I'll start these with my left leg, a lunge to the front, and then a lunge to the back. So remembering your eyes are looking ahead, your ears are stacking your shoulders, but you're stacking your hips. Lunge to the front, fire your glute, lunge to the back. Let's see. Lunge to the front. I'm kind of leaving the window, so let's see, I'll step. So it's a nice big lunge. Your knee can go over your ankle, but you want to keep this heel locked onto the ground. You don't really want to be driving your knee way forward over your toes. That's going to put a strain on that front knee joints, or on the front of that joint. So lunge to the front, fire your glute. Same leg is going to reach to the back. So you'll be firing your glute, but it's going to be on the other leg. So all of your reps on one leg, all of your reps on the other. Then we're going to switch to curtsy lunges. So reach way around behind. It's going to fire just a different angle of your glute. Way around behind, alternating. You're totally welcome to speed this up a little bit to get your heart rate up, or add dumbbells, whatever seems to resonate. So alternating step-ups or step-ups with one leg and then the other. Lunges to the front, lunges to the back. So you'll get all of your reps on your left leg and switch to your right, or vice versa. And then alternating curtsy lunges. Being mindful of not letting your gaze go to the ground, which will then just let the whole rest of your torso follow and load your lumbar spine, disengaging your core. So moving on, then we're going to move to biceps and triceps. So a set of dumbbells, I'll show this with stretchy bands as well. I like to always add balance into things. It's one of those components that if we don't work on, it goes away. So picking your number of sets and reps, if I'm doing 12 bicep curls, I'm going to balance on one leg for 6, balance on the other leg for the other 6. So just basic bicep curls, I keep my elbows into my sides. Your palms can be up. They can be facing your quads and hammer curl up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch to the other leg. From there, hinging over into a split lunge. So a split lunge is a pretty big lunge. Your feet are going to situate themselves about leg length apart. You're going to focus on flattening out your pelvis, which is going to fire this glute on the back leg, and you'll feel a stretch through your back hip flexor and quad. You're going to come drop into a lunge with your knee stacking your ankle, and then hinge your torso over. With your dumbbell in the same arm as your leg, you're going to lock this elbow into your rib cage. And this is not going to move. Your tricep kickback is just your arm moving from your elbow to the dumbbell. Elbow stays in your rib cage, and you're focusing your breath and a little extra contraction right as that arm extends out. Okay? One side, then you situate yourself in your split lunge for the other. Flatten out that pelvis by driving through your glute on the back leg, so you get this hip flexor and quad stretch. Come into your lunge, keep your chest open, and hinge straight from the waist. So it's a long line from the base of your skull all the way to your tailbone. Lock this elbow to your rib cage, kickbacks. Your third exercise for biceps and triceps, bicep curl up, arms come back down, flip your palms, pull straight back. So, curl up, arms extend, palms flip, pulse back. Focusing on the backs of your arms, squeezing your shoulder blades together in the back. If you are using a resistance band, again, it might, depending on length and resistance, might need to be a single-sided exercise, but here's your straight bicep curl. Here is your, see, I'll do this side, your tricep extension, and bicep curl up, flip your palms, pulse back. So you'll want to make adjustments if you're using a resistance band versus dumbbells on your reps and sets as well. So 15 bicep curls with a set of dumbbells is going to be typically completely different than 15 bicep curls with a resistance band. So you might need to shift the resistance band curls to, 25 reps, 50 reps, whatever starts to get that muscle to fire. And let's see, core exercises is your that's your third block. So plain crunches, you are going to come onto the ground, plant your feet about hip distance apart. And when I say hip distance, I mean if you were to line your hip bones with your knees to your feet, that's about hip distance apart, not what most women seem to think their hips are, which is like a foot too wide. So line your feet up, tailbone slides to your heels. So your heels are not super close to your tailbone, but they're just flattened. Elbows are out. Before you start, shift your chin towards your chest just a little bit and make sure that this pelvis is flat. If you had a cup of water on your pelvis, it wouldn't move, or your cup of coffee, shot of whiskey, whatever seems to resonate with you, it would stay nice and flat. So your eyes are going to be gazing just over your knees a bit. Elbows are open and your core is doing the work. You're not going to be pulling your neck up with your fingertips, so they're just resting lightly. Inhale at the bottom through your nose. Your exhale comes up. Just really focusing on these transverse abdominis muscles. It's not necessary to get yourself all the way up and rounded. You really want to keep this pelvis nice and flat. So crunch up. This stays flat. There's no movement. When you get up too high, oftentimes your spine will imprint and your belly will pop. So your range of motion is really just dependent on how high you can go without popping up your belly button. From there, you're either counting reps or timing yourself. You've got twists. So you're going to get yourself seated nice and tall with a flat pelvis, eyes looking straight ahead, shoulders down and relaxed, feet planted. I typically have my heels planted and my toes up, and then hinge back on your tailbone as far as you can go without losing the integrity of your pelvis, so or of your low abdominal region. So when you hinge back, if you start to feel a strain in your low back or your belly pops up, you've gone past your range of motion. So hinge back and twist back to center as your exhale. Inhale, twist, exhale back to center. If you are holding a dumbbell, twist, twist. That's that. With the twists, the third exercise is knee hugs. So a couple of options here. You may start in that same long spine upright position as the twists. Hinge back, so alternating heel lifts, knees coming towards your chest. There's option 1. Option 2, feet stay on the ground, lift and lower. Option 3, legs extend out. Shoulders have to stay relaxed. You have to make sure you're still breathing. Hinge yourself back, hug your knees to your chest. Hinge, hug your knees to your chest. So that is our second block of block of exercises: core, biceps and triceps, lunges, and step ups.